The Carolina Hurricanes on Sunday night had one to remember. As the post-trade deadline, they had to take on the Winnipeg Jets, and what a way to make your debut for Mark Jankowski and Logan Stankoven.
You're Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to a Monday edition of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you to the Everydayer for making this your first listen of the day. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, talking everything about Carolina Hurricanes. I'm your host, Zach Martin. I'm the credentialed Carolina Hurricanes beat writer over at the Hockey Writers. Also do some AHL content over the Calder Times, even doing some baseball stuff at Covering the Corner. I'm also the co-host of the Search Cast, which is a weekly Carolina Hurricanes podcast, along with all my dudes here at Locked On Hurricane. Got a marvelous Monday episode for you guys as we get to talk about everything from the Hurricanes' 4-2 win over the NHL points leaders in the Winnipeg Jets. When it's just what an absolute great night for Mark Jankowski and Logan Stankoven getting goals in their debuts. And like I said, the Hurricanes picked up their 38th win, and now they're 25-7-1 at home. So we're going to talk about that and so much more as we hear from Jankowski and Stankoven during the show. But coming into the game, it's the first game of the post-trade deadline. You know, the Hurricanes do move out Mikko Rantanen. He plays on Saturday night for the Stars. They lose in that game. Then the question was, well, how are the new guys going to do with the Carolina Hurricanes with the fact that, you know, the Canes picked up Mark Jankowski for a fifth-round pick to go to Nashville. Of course, we all know the Mikko Rantanen trade where they sent him to Dallas and got Logan Stankoven back. 2 firsts in 26 and at 28. So sorry for that, guys. It changed afterwards. Originally, it sounded like it was going to be a 27, but it was a 28 conditional. So they got 2 first-rounders in 26 and 28. And then they got a third-rounder in 26 and a third-rounder in 27. So coming to the game, you're kind of like, okay, how are the new guys going to do? You know, you're facing the number one team in the NHL. You lost to them 3-0 last time you faced off back in February. And this was right before the Four Nations break. And it just nothing anyone really expected as the fact that you're closing in the end of the first period. You know, the Hurricanes are pretty much doing really well against the Jets. I was shooting them 7-4. And you're thinking, okay, you know, this might be a part of, you know, hey, you know, if you get into the first intermission tied, you know, 0-0, that's fine, no big deal. But less than 2 minutes left in the period. What an absolute great pass from Scott Morrow, finding Mark Jankowski, kind of rushing into the Jet zone, bears down on, you know, Connor Hellebuyck, kind of does a couple little head fakes, couple little, you know, looks over and completely fooled him. It snipes it absolutely top shelf. And just like that, the Hurricanes are up 1-0. You know, Scott Morrow picks up his first assist. Congratulations to him. What a way to have your first NHL point. And then, of course, you got Mark Jankowski getting his first goal with the Carolina Hurricanes. It didn't stop there, as, you know, scored one in the second period as well, fighting for the puck in the crease. You know, trying to get to the net. Puck goes off his skate, goes off the post. It's just laying there. And great wherewithal and no quit from him as well, and gets the puck past. You know, he gets it past Connor Hellebuyck, and the next thing you know, it is 2-0 Carolina Hurricanes. They are absolutely rolling, and just like that, you get Jankowski getting 2 goals in his franchise debut with the Hurricanes, and he actually joins a list of 5 other guys who did that to score multiple goals in Hurricanes/Whalers history. So you got Julius Lupin back in 1981, Dave Semenko in 1986, James Patrick in 1993. Then moving on to the Carolina Hurricanes, you got Brad Defoe in 2003 on March 10th. And then March 8th, Morgan Geekie back in 2020. And then Mark Jankowski on March 9th. So they got goals on the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th between 2003, 2020, and 2025. So Mark Jankowski, a guy who's making less than $900,000, you know, was a very late addition to the team. Like I said, everyone knew about the Stankoven move, but Jankowski was a very late one. You know, it was after 3 o'clock. He comes in, scores the first 2 goals for the Hurricanes, and makes a very huge contribution to the team. The fact that he got his 5th and his 6th goal of the season. What a way to have a debut. And for the fact, too, on top of that, he was able to get Scott Moore his first NHL point on the assist. Now, one other thing about Mark Jankowski, and this is from Corey Laviolette. According to hockeyreference.com, Jankowski is the 5th Hurricane player to score 2 goals in under 10 minutes of ice time. You read that right. He scored 2 goals in 2 different periods, but for the fact that his total ice time, he scored 2 in less than 10 minutes. He joins Derek Stepan, Stevie Lawrence, Joris, and Chad LaRose. So another great company to assist by, coming away for Mark Jankowski. And you know what? The Hurricanes media did meet up with him, post game. So without further ado, let's listen to Mark Jankowski and get his thoughts on his game overall right now.
Well, that's one way to introduce yourself to a new team.
Yeah, it was a great start. Obviously, there's a little bit of nerves coming into a new team, but it's. Everyone's been so welcoming, and it's been an easy transition so far.
What are you thinking coming up the wing? Were you thinking just get the shot off quick, maybe fool?
Yeah, it was a great pass by Scotty there, and as soon as I turned and got my head up, I saw I had quite a bit of time and space, so I was trying to get in as close as possible and then just try to sneak one by him.
You had 31 goals in your first 2 seasons. You've got some scoring touch. Tell us a little bit about how you go about becoming that kind of guy and reclaiming that sort of ability to score here.
Yeah, definitely. I think a big part of it is confidence. You come in here and playing with some great line mates. Everyone here, the team has been unbelievable. So coming into a contending team, it's been a lot of fun, pretty exciting so far. So for me, just trying to do whatever I can to help the team win, whether that's good on the PK, good in the face-off dot, do the little things, be a good two-way player, and then, like you said, I think I can provide some scoring touch as well.
Logan talked about how it's a lot thrown at you all at once in terms of systems and all that. How much of it is just kind of going out there and just trying to play on field versus not trying to think too much?
Yeah, for sure. The systems are a little bit different, obviously, from team to team, and the staff's been great about, showing us video and throwing stuff at us, but then also telling us just, go out and play. I think that's the biggest thing. They'll come grab you, do video in between games and stuff, or in between shifts they'll grab you and tell you something, maybe tweak something here or there, but the biggest thing, they said, just go out there and play. So they've been great.
Anytime you're traded, maybe it's a mixed blessing, but you're coming to a team in a playoff run here. Did you greet this with enthusiasm when you heard about it?
Yeah, for sure. When I first heard about it, I was a little shocked. I think I got the call 2 hours after the deadline had passed. So, I was a little shocked at first, but then once it all settled in, and Carolina, obviously, like I said, a contending team. So it's super exciting to be able to join a group like that and push for the playoffs.
You said to me yesterday that Jack and Eric were the 2 guys you kind of knew, so it must have helped a little bit to jump on a line with them today.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I met those guys a few times before, so it's easy to play with them and be able to talk on the bench through things, and they were great helping me out, and little system things here and there, face-off stuff, and then obviously great to play with. Those 2 guys, they're hounding pucks in the O-zone, creating chances, making plays. It was awesome to play with those 2.
Big thank you to Mark Jankowski and the Carolina Hurricanes as always. And you love to hear from his voice. You can just tell how excited he was for. And the big thing that's kind of funny towards the end was the fact he didn't even know that he got traded. He got the call like 2 hours after the deadline closed. And like, oh, you're going to Carolina. And so, it's definitely a whirlwind for a guy who's like, oh, he thought he was fine. And the next thing you know, he got traded. Of course, like you said, all these trades kind of trickle in afterwards. But it goes to show how great the coaching staff is for the Hurricanes. And the fact this guy comes in, has maybe a practice, maybe a little bit of a morning skate too, and then you go in and the fact that you're watching videos, you're talking to your line mates because you're with Robinson and Rosovic, it's your first game as the 4th line center for the Hurricanes, different system compared to Nashville, and he comes in, learns from the coaching staff, learns from the team, his teammates, he's talking to Rod on the bench, Rod's giving him some shoulder bumps, it's just the fact that it was almost so seamless of how he just came in, a little bit under his belt and scores 2 goals in his debut and gets the Hurricanes up 2-0. So it kind of almost sets the tone of yeah, you can, any guy who's willing to buy in and run with the system can definitely find a way to succeed. And you saw that from a guy who had 4 goals going into the game, lose with 6, basically gets half of his total that he already had. And now you talk about a guy who's already, very liked by the fan base for his effort. You get to, like, even during this, post game, sitting on the bench with Hannah Yates, he, asked him a question like, "What's it like just playing in front of these fans?" And he just sat there basking in the cheers and how loud it was. It just goes to show that, guys who really bought in, guys who really love the atmosphere, want to do well. And you see what the end result is. You join an elite list of guys who've scored multiple goals in their debut, and the fact that you're the first one since Morgan Geeky in 2020, almost to the exact day, is absolutely insane to think about. But hey, you know what? If Mark Jankowski is signed with the Hurricanes through next season too, so maybe he is their bona fide fourth line center for the rest of the season, and even next year too, because you're making less than $100,000. You're 6'4". You play really well in your debut, and if you keep that going and get some more games under your belt, and like I said, he's signed through next season. Not a bad addition for all it was a 2025 fifth. So big congrats to Mark Jankowski for getting multiple goals in his first game and kind of find a way to just make an instant impact with the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, the other guy they made an impact for the Carolina Hurricanes also in his debut was Logan Stankoven. One of the bigger parts of the trade deadline for the Carolina Hurricanes. You're hoping he gets the first goal in his first game, the new number 22 with Mark Jankowski wearing 77. Now Stankoven wears 22, and he definitely made an impact as well. So we'll talk about Logan Stankoven and also hear from him post game here in a second on a Monday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better-for-you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Welcome back to segment 2 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. Like I said, at the end of segment 1, we talked about Mark Jankowski and his debut as the new number 77, scoring 2 goals. Well, how about Logan Stankoven getting a debut goal for himself as well for the Carolina Hurricanes? The guy who was kind of the bigger part of the trade deadline for the team. He comes in, everyone's hoping he scores a goal, and what a way to get your first goal as a Carolina Hurricane on the power play. Instant PP1 minutes. You love to see it for him. It just get instantly set right there into that. And he also played first line with Svechnikov and Aho. So what a way to make your debut for the Hurricanes. Immediately first line on the team, and you're on the first power play unit. And the fact that the first power play unit overall, the first couple were kind of okay in terms of, they went 1 for 6, but they were doing all right. And you could see throughout the game it was kind of getting a little bit better over time. And Logan Stankoven's goal was very huge for the Hurricanes, as he did score on the power play, which is fantastic to see. Just some, great passing overall. You go from Aho to Shane Gostisbehere and stuff like that. Gostisbehere puts the puck on the net, and Stankoven hits it with a tip-in, and boom, there you go. The Hurricanes are up 3-0 in the third period. You're feeling really good about yourself, and now you're hoping the guy that you traded for, who's on an ELC making less than $900,000 as well, makes an instant impact in his debut, and with his 10th goal of the season, which is, hey, what way you get your 10th of the season in your debut for the Hurricanes, and it's on the power play. So with that being said, him along with Jankowski become the 4th time that multiple players scored on their Hurricanes debut, going back to 2003, Mike Zigomanis and Thomas Kirka scored for the Hurricanes, and then you got Dan Lucator and Yoni Pikkinen back in 2008. Then Radek Dvorak and Nathan Gerby back in 2013. And now, of course, we know with Jankowski and Stankoven in 2025. And like I said, what a way to make your debut for Stankoven. He comes in, gets a power play goal, gets his 10th. You can really tell that he was really fighting hard to find a way to make an impact. Because you see he had a lot of great opportunities throughout the game. Definitely had that bulldog mentality that everyone was talking about, even when you hear it from the franchise video that the Stars did. Tenacity. He's got a bulldog-like mentality. He's 5'8", but he plays a lot bigger. And the fact that, he was, giving Connor Hellebuyck a lot of grief too behind the net. Connor's trying to play some pucks in. Stankoven's right there kind of, making him having to rush a little bit more. But he found a way to just keep him on his toes and then gets rewarded with the goal in the third period. Like I said, he had a good number of chances throughout the game, but he finally breaks the ice, gets his first one with the Canes. And that's what everyone was waiting for. They're like, okay, how is he going to do in his debut? You're waiting for an opportunity to see him score his 10th, because that'd be a great way to score your 10th for the season. And then he did in his debut, and it's on the power play. And for the fact that the new guys scored 3 of the 4 goals, you have to be happy to see that if you're the Carolina Hurricanes, even the coaching staff as well, because now you're looking at 2 guys who come in on the deadline. You're talking about, Jankowski came in for a pick. Definitely a fourth line guy. You definitely need an extra body. Guy's going to win you faceoffs. Guy who's got a little bit of scoring, but you're looking at him as more of a shutdown fourth line guy. See what you can do in the PK, and he did phenomenally well in the PK. Even saw some power play 2 minutes as well, because when you're making an impact like Jankowski did, you'd love to see it. And even Logan Stankoven, you trade Miko Rantanen away for him. You also get 4 picks in the deal. You want to see what kind of guy you have for him as well, kind of playing that similar style from Dallas to Carolina. Comes in, like I said, makes an instant impact. You score a goal. You had some chances. You're setting up your teammates as well. And, we'll hear from him here in a little bit too from postgame, where you're just, getting used to the system coming in. You feel like you're wanted. Now you're wearing a number 22 that's had names of, Mike Commodore and, guys like Brett Pesce and a bunch of others. So you're living up to a number that's really significant to the Carolina Hurricanes, like how with Jankowski, you're talking like Joe Corvo and all that. So you're coming in, you kind of like you're the guy of the trade deadline for the Hurricanes, and like I said, making an instant impact. You have like not a 1-for-1 carbon copy of him and Seth Jarvis, but you got a guy, Western Canadian, played for Kamloops, did really, really, really well for them, and finds a way to kill it in the AHL. Was an AHL Player of the Year for the Texas Stars. Makes his debut with the Stars. Last season. His first game was against the Canes, does really well, comes into this season, still finding his way, playing his first full season in the league after playing less than 25 games in the regular season last year. But having him on the same team with Seth Jarvis, you got 2 guys who are 5'10" or less, play the same style, 200-foot, 2-way game, not afraid to throw the body for their stature size, and comes in, like I said, makes an instant impact, and he scores his first goal as a Carolina Hurricane. And like I said, just same thing with Jankowski. You very limited number of practices, going from Friday you're getting traded to coming in Saturday, having a practice on Sunday, and you're playing the number 1 team in the NHL, who Logan knows pretty well for the fact they're in the same division, and he comes in and does what he does, and the fact that he helps lead the way for the Hurricanes to put up a 4 spot on the Jets, and they put 3 goals on Connor Hellebuyck, who's the number 1 goalie in the NHL. So that goes to say a lot for the fact of just this coaching staff and what they do, like what they did with Jankowski. Same thing with Stankoven, just coming in, goes on the power play, and it talks to his teammates, talks to his line, and finds a way to be a guy that the Hurricanes are really excited to build around with this young core of him, Jarvis, Kakaniemi, Svechnikov, Bradley Nadeau eventually, Scott Morrow, Alexander Nikishin. You have a bunch of guys who are 27 or less, so you add Logan Stankoven in. It's just great to see. So without further ado, guys, let's listen to him and get his thoughts from his first win as a Carolina Hurricane and scoring in his debut. And we're going to listen to that with Logan Stankoven right now.
Personally, I can give a lot more, and definitely wasn't my best tonight, and I know it's going to take a bit of time to get used to my line mates and the systems and whatnot, so just keep building, watching video with the coaches, and just keep learning.
Some of your game going to the slot, something like that, I mean, you got that one off the shaft, I guess, but I've seen a lot of your goals, and you're at the net a lot.
Yeah, it's at this level, it's so hard to beat goalies clean off the shots, so I think a lot of goals, you just got to go to the net and look for rebounds, anticipate plays. So.
New team and obviously a new power play, but I'm assuming that's the easiest spot to be, right? You don't have to have a whole lot of coaching up to know to get to the front of the net.
Yeah, it's about anticipating the play, and when I see that shot coming, you just want to get a shaft on it or something. It's so hard for goalies to track a puck when it gets deflected, so that was just my goal there.
Systematically, how different is it coming into this new team?
There's a lot of things that get thrown at you, and you try and adapt as much as you can without thinking too much. It was a bit hard at times to try and not think too much. I'm trying to fit in and play hard with the guys, so I'll just keep learning.
Big thank you to Logan Stankoven and the Carolina Hurricanes. And it's funny when you listen to Stankoven how the fact that when you look at how he did on the ice, it seemed like he was doing fine, like he was making impacts. When you look at a guy like him where it's like it wasn't his greatest, but he tried his best. He knows that, it's tough to score clean. You have to get to the front of the net and kind of, get those greasy type goals and get your stick on the puck that's coming at the net. So for the fact that he wasn't really satisfied with his play, which, all intents and purposes, you listen to Tracy Mike Maniscalco on the call and, kind of doing the eye test, you kind of feel like that he was doing fine. But for the fact that him personally saying it wasn't his greatest game, he has a lot more to learn. It kind of gives you a good feeling the fact that this guy's not, he doesn't want to settle. He's not going to wrestle his laurels. He's going to keep trying to get better. So that's kind of a good thing to see, the fact that he understands that, yeah, he might be the net front guy who's not afraid to get in there and use his body, which we've seen, already, in the fact of the tenacity that he has. So, and just the mentality of being like, yeah, I scored, but wasn't my greatest game. That should give you a lot of hope of like, okay, if this guy thinks that scoring a goal and that it wasn't his greatest game, gives you a sense of like, oh, okay, so give him some more games, give him some more chemistry with time with Aho and Svechnikov, whoever he's with. We could be hitting another level with this guy. He's 22 years old, and the fact that he has that mentality, like, I'm just going to keep trying to get better, that gives you a lot of hope that, okay, the Hurricanes definitely got a good one in him, and also Jankowski, of guys who are willing to come in, do the work that's needed and help this team win. And, the team's on the four, they've won 4 games in a row. You just beat the best team in the league pretty handily. And now you're kind of like, okay, the vibes are good, the grooves are moving, and we got to see what the rest of, we have 18 games left in the regular season until the playoffs. And if this is kind of like a rejuvenation for the team, then, hey, this is a great way to step forward into all of that. Now, we talk about Jankowski, talk about Stankoven. Let's look at the rest of the team and how they did in their 38th win of the season and going 25-7-1 at home with 18 games left in the regular season. So stick around as we'll kind of wrap up the rest of the recap and the rest of this episode here in a second on a Monday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. Looking to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor makes eating well easy with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals that are fresh, never frozen, and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences every week, you can customize your meals to fit your lifestyle, whether it's Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. Plus, Factor even offers wholesome smoothies, breakfast, and grab-and-go snacks to keep you filled all day long. I know for me, I really like the Protein Plus. I got that. The food is really good. Even the smoothies are really good too, and just the types of drinks that they had. So I would say I definitely feel a lot better when eating food from Factor. So with Factor, eat smart with them. Get started at factormeals.com/LockedOnAHL50 off and use code LockedOnAHL50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code LockedOnAHL50 off at factormeals.com. Once again, that is LockedOnAHL50 off at factormeals.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Welcome back to segment 3 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. Now, like I said, we're kind of going to clean up the rest of the recap, talking about other things that kind of stood out for the Hurricanes in their 4-2 win over the Winnipeg Jets. Now, like I said, with the fact that Jankowski got 2 goals in his debut, same thing with Logan Stankoven getting his goal, Scott Moore with his first NHL point, and for the fact they put 4 goals on the number 1 team in the NHL is great to see. But also, how about Seth Jarvis getting the empty net goal for his team-leading 25th of the season? It's great to see that Seth is still doing his thing. He's definitely going to be on pace. He's going to hit 30 goals. He's already 5 off. So we're looking at back-to-back 30-goal seasons. He's right now on pace with like 18 games left. He has a shot of getting at least 10 goals in 18 games. He could definitely hit 35 and set a new career high for himself. So I have a good feeling that we might see 10 more goals out of Seth Jarvis, but at least he's going to hit 30. It would be awesome if he did hit 35 just to set a new career high. Now, the Hurricanes 25-7-1 at home, and now they're 38-22-4. And sorry, going back to Seth Jarvis real quick. The Carolina Hurricanes in the regular season, when Seth Jarvis scores a goal, and this is from Kent Stat, Brent, fantastic follow, They are now 66-5-5. You love to see it. That's amazing to see it for the fact that every time Seth Jarvis scores in the regular season, they've won 66 out of 76 regular season games. Now, just taking a look overall at the rest of the team, see how the rest of the guys did. And of course, overall, you have to be very happy with how the team played when it comes to just being able to do what they needed to do to get this win. Like I said, Jankowski, 2 points with a +1. Jordan Stahl with a point and a +1 as well. Stankoven with a goal, finished even. Eric Robinson with an assist, +1. Jordan Martin got an assist. Jack Roslovic got an assist, also +1. And looking towards the defense, obviously seeing Gossespierre, Scott Moore, both of the point each, all +1s, and Jalen Chatfield was a +1 as well. And then goaltending, Freddie Anderson saving 20 of 22 and finished with a .909 save percentage. So overall, a great total team effort. The goals for Freddie, the first one, it is what it is. The second goal by Freddie Anderson, though, puck got stuck in the snow behind the net. Try to get the puck out, but kind of a goof play for him where he basically passed it right to Adam Lowry, who kind of put the puck right back in the net. It's one of those, if you're a goaltender, tend the goal, if you know anything from, dangits and stuff like that, but that's just kind of tough. I mean, I understand you losing the shutout, that stinks, but it should have been a 4-1 game, not 4-2. But other than that weird boneheaded, play from Freddie, he played really well overall for the Carolina Hurricanes. Like I said, you get a .906 save percentage, you stop 20-22. You basically shut down the Jets. You played really well, so good on him for that. PK, hey, the PK did a phenomenal job for the Hurricanes, going 3 for 3. You love to see that from one of the best PK units in the league. They did have a lot of power plays, though. They did have 6, but one of them was a 4-minute double minor on a high stick. They didn't score on it, but like I said, they did get the Logan Stankoven goal in the third period. So, hey, you got 1 out of 6. Hey, they don't ask how, they ask how many. And the crazy part, too, is even had one where it was Mark Scheifele got a 2-minute, minor and got a 10. Of course, it doesn't really count towards the power play, but he did get game misconduct. So, very interesting how you see Mark Scheifele get the 2 and 10. Of course, barking at the refs doesn't really help you in that case. But overall, I mean, you look at a great win for the Hurricanes. You get your 4 straight. You beat the number 1 team in the NHL, and you kind of throw the bad juju out. Just the bad vibes overall. Even though you were winning games, but this is where it was a more complete game from the Hurricanes. Yeah, it should have been 4-1, but hey, you win 4-2. You get the win. You love to see it. It's one of those things where your home record of 25-7-1 still making you feel really good. Now you got 38 wins on the season. You got 18 games left, and now you're 10 points up on the Jackets for the wild card spot. You're still, you're a little farther ahead of the Devils now, with still a game in hand. Gonna be tough to catch the Capitals for first in the division, but honestly, at this point, if the Devils I know the Devils won, but if they keep struggling and the Jackets catch them, I don't know. You'll be looking at a very different first-round matchup, but right now for the Canes, just keep winning games, stay ahead of the Devils, and find a way to take the number 2 seed in the Metro so that we can have home ice advantage in the first round. But overall, great win. You love to see it. The Hurricanes are back in action on Tuesday as they take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Of course, we'll preview all that for the Tuesday episode. But in terms of that, guys, that will be a Monday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. Thank you for making your first listen of the day. For your second listen, well, why don't you go check out Locked On NHL podcast, bringing you the daily wide stories that matter from the local coverage you love from Locked On. Find Locked On NHL on YouTube, or you listen to podcasts. If you're going to keep it with me, I'm One True Zach on X. The podcast is LO_Hurricanes. I'm also on Blue Sky at @Zachary_Martin. I have link trees in all my bios. You can check out all my articles at thehockeywriters.com, AHL content at thecaldertimes.com. If you want to check out my baseball coverage, well, it's coveringthecorner.com, covering the Cleveland Guardians. If you want to check out my other podcasts, well, it's the Searchcast and all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Now, with YouTube, Locked On Hurricanes, it's follow, subscribe, hit the bell notification when it's the show, hit the thumbs up to let me know if you like the show as well. Share with other connects to become everydayers just like you. And for the podcast, well, Google, Spotify, Apple, we're all there. follow, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating review. I might just read it on the show. But I hope everyone enjoyed the Monday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. Hope everyone enjoys their Monday. And until next time, as always, let's go Canes.